All right, good evening. We're going to start this season's videos off with a garden video, which does include some peppers, but this is way long overdue here, just getting started, especially since planted probably a month ago at this point. But you can see everything's starting to grow pretty well out here in the garden. Same one as last year, mix it up a little bit different with what we included. Here we've got two of the peppers in the garden, the sugar drop orange, which I believe is some variation of habanero. But on this side, instead of the zucchinis and cucumbers that we had last year, this year is just two different kinds of zucchini, since we figure we're going to use those most. Here you have a traditional yellow flowered zucchini, and you can see here plenty of flowers on it, and there are I think about 6 zucchinis already forming. So hopefully within the next few days to a week we should be able to pick our first ones. And then in the back here, second type of zucchini is a Sicilian one, which we've never grown before, and it just started producing some of these white flowers, so it'll be interesting to see what happens as this develops. And this one is growing just as well, with leaves just all over the place, and starting to take over the lawn and the tomato area as well. So that one should be producing shortly as well. The other side here's the other sugar drop, and that one's producing flowers and growing a lot better than the one on the other side, because that one's been overshadowed periodically by the big leaves from the zucchini. But you can see here, decided to do a lot more lettuce this year, since that's what we typically do. A lot of salads during the summer, and we've been picking them pretty much every day for salads with all different kinds of fish or meat or steak or whatever else to go along with them. So a few different kinds of salads there, and this huge basil plant, which is just really taken off. And I just noticed today, it's kind of neat in the bottom there, you can see it's starting to wood up on the bottom of the stem, much like a lot of the pepper plants will do. So real strong, sturdy stem there, and you can see this just keeps branching off and branching off, and there's just one after the other, and we can't use that up enough for typically mozzarella and tomatoes with a little balsamic and salt and pepper. And then here we've got a spinach plant, which we also use in our salads, and it's actually an arrowhead spinach. So you can see those arrowhead type leaves there, as opposed to, I guess, the more traditional rounder spinach leaves. Then we get over here to the tomatoes, and this year, instead of any of the larger tomatoes like it did last year, which worked out all right but weren't too great, went with a lot of the cherry type tomatoes and medium-sized ones, like the San Marzano and the La Roma. And we've already got some producing somewhere in here. There you can see a few green ones in there, the medium-sized one. There's another one there, so hopefully not too much longer, but that one's starting to flower up nice. And then a lot of the ones in here are either the La Romas or variations of the cherry type tomatoes. So I think there's just basic cherry tomato red ones in here, as well as some of the orange ones, and even yellow, and then some that are kind of a red purple called indigo blue. And these guys also, there's a little bunch there that are starting, and then there's just flowers everywhere on them. And there's another medium-sized one growing in there, but tons and tons of flowers. And I have to kind of cut back on these just about every day now, just to kind of keep them off the dirt, keep the insects off them, keep any kind of disease from the rain from getting on them, and then trying to keep them from not overcrowding each other, which is probably inevitable since there's way too many tomatoes in here, which I kind of did on purpose, I guess. Couldn't decide which ones to cut out. And then there's also a couple stragglers that are growing from the seeds that were mashed in here from last year. One over there, and another little guy over here, and then one growing out the back of the garden bed as well, which I'll just kind of leave go and see what happens with them. But anyway, there's a quick recap here, and I'll get into some of the peppers, including some of the successfully overwintered peppers that I have in another area. So did finally successfully overwinter a few peppers this year, so that was a big win, despite all the issues with the aphids. So I'll post those up next, but until then, here's the beginning of hopefully a good season.